I want to speak more about the fact that we're aware that special interest groups have already extended their deceptive influences within the confines of the Vatican. They are purposely and erroneously persuading some members of the hierarchy of the Catholic Church into accepting brain death as true death. Since the truth will eventually emerge, we are trying to prevent the Galileo-type drama of the 21st century by bringing outstanding experts to denounce these crimes against humanity. As Catholics, we are in deep anguish at the necessity of having to alert the Church's leadership of the imminent danger of becoming an accomplice in the destruction of human life before its natural end. The recent International Congress on November 7, 2008, entitled A Gift for Life, was organized by the Pontifical Academy for Life, the World Federation of Catholic Medical Association, in collaboration with the Italian National Transplant Center, the World Health Organization, and the pharmaceutical giant Novartis. The conference took place within Vatican property and was sponsored in collaboration with entities that comprise special interest groups that are involved in the profitable international marketing of human organs. The scientific committee was composed in its majority of individuals who are actively involved in the billion-dollar business of organ transplantation, as presidents of European, Italian transplant societies, a Catholic bioethics center from the USA aggressively in favor of the farming of human organs, the Transplantation Society of Canada, and others of similar ilk. It is to be expected from such a group that they would have concluded that brain death is true death. Some members of the Pontifical Academy for Life wrote to the leadership stating that it was improper to collaborate and receive funding from entities that are involved in destroying human life from conception to its natural end. We tried to alert the higher authorities that it would be morally and ethically improper to collaborate with the enemy, but to no avail, as the conference still took place in spite of our warnings. By sponsoring such a conference with high authorities of the international transplant business, the Catholic Church runs the risk of being accused of terminating the life of a donor to extend the life of another. Even the international medical profession is questioning the brain death issue, particularly in lieu of recent cases where prospective donors have awakened minutes before their organs were to be extracted from their bodies. Collaborating with entities such as the World Health Organization or pharmaceutical giants involved in scientific research and practices that are contrary to the moral teachings of the Catholic Church is contrary to sound reason. It will create an international scandal in the eyes of the faithful and those who regard the Catholic Church as the unswerving moral leadership of the world. While we agree that life is a gift from God, there is no difference between killing an innocent human life within the mother's womb and killing an innocent human person outside the womb before its natural end. Both acts impose death. It is common knowledge today that unfortunately both abortion and harvesting of vital organs have become billion-dollar businesses. If the leadership of the Catholic Church does not stop collaborating with gigantic special interest groups who promote the culture of death. It is no secret to the transplant organizations that if the Catholic Church would endorse, encourage, and promote organ transplants worldwide, the trafficking of human organs will multiply to no end. It is no secret that abuses are taking place in the developing countries, without forgetting that transplant surgeons from the West have been encouraging and training surgeons in other countries on the profitable practice that can be generated from such transplant procedures. How can a so-called brain-dead mother deliver a live baby and produce breast milk when the transplant surgeons have been assuring the family that their loved one is dead? This last question was posed to the pro-brain death physicians who attended the Pontifical Academy of Science conference in February 3rd and 4th, 2005, which was, by the way, requested personally by His Holiness John Paul II. he asked us to collaborate with the Pontifical Academy of Science, and we could write a book about that part. None of them, scientists who were in favor of organ transplantation, denied that the pregnant mother, who the transplant surgeons called a cadaver, who was declared brain dead, could produce milk from the breast. Such admission tumbled their assurance that the brain dead patient has no brain. It appears that leading organ transplant surgeons in developed nations have been influencing higher authorities within the Vatican that it is evil to steal organs in less developed countries, but that it is acceptable for transplant surgeons in developed nations to stop the heart of a donor that is beating at a rate of 100 times per day. This is another kind of euthanasia. We fear that the aim of those forces that encouraged the conference was twofold. First, obtain official approval from the leadership of the Roman Catholic Church that organ transplantation is a donation of life. Second, disguise the atrocities being perpetrated to living donors. And third, offer the procedure to be done in clean, sterile conditions. This way, the recipient can be guaranteed a better chance of survival from the transplant operation, as professional harvesters of human organs would be conducting it. Collaborating with the enemy would give the appearance that the Catholic Church was willing to compromise its moral principles and unite her efforts with organizations and pharmaceutical companies deeply involved in violating the teachings of the magisterium of the Catholic Church. Let us imagine if the Church had approved the use of artificial birth control in 1968, instead of issuing Humane Vitae proclaiming the opposite. Today, the Catholic Church would be accused of being responsible for billions of crimes against unborn children, as it is admitted even by the pharmaceutical industry that most artificial methods of birth control are abortifacient. His Holiness, the Pope, relies on the advice of the academicians. However, it is crucial that those who will be making their recommendations and conclusions be those of impeccable credentials, defenders of human life, and faithful to their Creator. Surely, pharmaceutical companies, transplant societies, the World Health Organization are not the most suitable advisors for the Pope. Evil may not be done, that good may come of it. The leadership of the Catholic Church cannot declare death unless there is no doubt that the soul has separated from the body. Pope John Paul II stated in his written remarks, February 3rd, 2005, read in his absence due to illness, to the participants of the Pontifical Academy of Science meeting entitled The Signs of Death. He said the following, quote, "Within the horizon of Christian anthropology, it is well known that the moment of death for each person consists in the definitive loss of the constitutive unity of body and spirit. Each human being, in fact, is alive precisely insofar as he or she is corpore et anima unus, body and soul united. And he or she remains so for as long as the substantial unity in totality subsists. As soon as any personal profit is at stake, fame or financial profit, an honest examination of our motivation will lead us to see that under the pretext of helping people, we are plainly serving our own interest. This was already perceived in some fashion by the noble Socrates when he declared, 'It is better for man to suffer injustice than to commit it. It is better not to be cured of a disease if the price to be paid is to offend God. If there is only one chance in a million that the person whose vital organs are removed is alive, the natural law tells us, if we are willing to listen, in case of doubt, abstain from acting.'" Thank you very much.